weekend we had a female referee, and there was a lot that was said on social media after the game, a lot of complaints about things that were said towards the referee that were specific about her gender. Now, obviously, I'm not really in a position to talk about this, so I've invited Madi on, who's going to talk to us today from a female perspective about what was said. Firstly, Happy New Year, Madi. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks. Happy New Year to you too.
Maddie's made much more of an effort than I have with any sort of Walsall stuff in the background, with a scarf behind you there.
Oh yeah, I didn't even put that there, like for just there.
So I just want to, we'll get straight into it. Hearing some of the things that were shouted towards the ref at the weekend, how did that make you sort of feel as a female supporter and someone who's supported the club since, you know, being a child? Did it surprise you? Did it kind of almost shockingly not surprise you? And yeah, how did it generally make you feel?
Well, I can't say I was surprised, because I wasn't at all. And from what you hear week in, week out from some of the fans, I was expecting worse, if anything. But it was so uncomfortable to sit there in the stands surrounded by grown men. I think there was one other woman near me. So it was just so uncomfortable hearing these things. And then there's just so many people crowding around, and it's overwhelming how nervous it makes you. And it wasn't a nice feeling. And to be honest, I'm glad the game ended how it did, because it was the worst game I've been to sit there and sort of not feel like I was able to say anything or express how I was feeling because of the comments that were being made.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Kind of rewinding to, let's go before kickoff. Were you quite excited to see a female referee? I mean, we were talking before, and neither of us can remember there being a female referee at Walsall or refereeing a Walsall game before. So did it make you quite happy to see that?
Yeah, it really, really did, actually. Well, we were reading the programme, and I said, oh, we've got a female referee today. So I'd searched her up and seen obviously who she was, that she hadn't ref that many games. And I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting then. And I was quite excited, because it's like, that could be me one day being involved with this. Yeah. And then you take a step back at the end of the game and actually, do I want to anymore? Has that put me off? Yeah.
I'm kind of going to jump forward and then back again. So Madi is a football coach, and I believe your kind of career aim is to stay in coaching or work within football in some format of coaching, or like a behind the scenes type of thing. Did the experience, and like you said about how that it made you feel uncomfortable, did it make you question that, or does it make you feel even more driven to kind of...
No. It definitely put me off, but it also made me like, I'm going to do this now just to prove those people wrong. But it was a huge setback for me to hear those things, and it was like, I couldn't handle it. Yeah. So if I did one day, I don't know, become a professional coach, to have those comments said about me, I'd be like, I don't know how I'd be able to handle it.
Yeah.
It'd be very hard.
It's interesting. It's very sad to hear, because it feels like the women's game, that sort of the opportunities that women are getting in football has progressed so much.
Yeah,
definitely. Then it feels like, well, has a lot changed? Does it make you a bit kind of anxious or not as excited for the next home game or away game?
Definitely. I'm dreading to see if we have a female referee again. To sit there through a 90 minutes again with that feeling, I couldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't do it. I think I would have to leave, because it was that uncomfortable.
Did you feel like moving stands or blocks or wherever to sort of get away with it, or get away from it? Sorry.
I feel like I did, but I just didn't do it. Yeah. I stayed where I was, and I just sat down the whole time. I wasn't doing anything. I just sat there, sort of minded my own business, and I was waiting to leave.
Yeah.
I just let the game go and go.
which considering like how epic the game was as a whole.
Yeah.
Have you spoken to any of the female supporters about it? Is that
no? Well,
consensus?
I haven't spoken to anyone. I've posted a comment and had a comment back, but it hasn't been a conversation of such. But that's all the communication I've had.
Yeah. Before we started recording, Madi said that in her kind of career to date as a coach, she was told that she'd never make it as a coach because she's female, which again is extremely archaic and completely untrue. I mean, you only have to look at who we were talking about before, Emma Hayes, to go, well, hang on a second, one of the best managers, coaches in the UK at the moment. How inspirational has the likes of Emma Hayes been for you growing up and someone to look up to?
Yeah, just following stories like hers are just amazing. It's like it gives you so much hope, and you just think that really will be me one day if I want it enough and I work for it enough, because I won't let anything stop me from doing what I want to do.
Yeah,
and I don't think I ever will. I think I have setbacks, but to have people like her you can look up to, it's just so it almost takes the pressure off your shoulders. It's like it can be done. It's not impossible.
Yeah. Well, I can only say I'm sorry that you had to sit through a game where, I mean, you've been a season ticket holder for however many years and that you've experienced that. Do you think that's one of the worst experiences you've had at the club?
Definitely. I think that is the worst I've ever had at the club. It's just, I've never heard the comments made how they were that extreme. Like there was some things being said that you'd never wish to say. Yeah. So that was definitely the worst experience I've had at the club. Well,
hopefully, going forward, we will get female referees again and female officials, and things will be brighter.
Hopefully.
I'd like to thank you for coming on and being so
honest. Thank you for having me.
I think a lot of people will find it interesting, and people who might not consider the effects that comments that have been made have had. This is just a prime example that our supporters are feeling uncomfortable at a game where they normally go enjoy and feel safe.
Yeah, I agree, definitely.
Well, thank you very much.
No, thank you for having me.